Hello, everybody. Welcome to our new show called Who Are the Tory Leadership Candidates? Part 2. Now, yesterday we talked about Kemi Badenoch. On this show, we will bring you the profile of all leadership candidates, who they are, where they come from, what they've done, what they say they're going to do, and what we think they're actually going to end up doing. So, let's talk about Liz Truss. Mary Elizabeth Truss was born in Oxford into a household that she claims that the parents were both to the left of the Labour Party. Her father was a professor, her mother was a nurse and then a teacher, both extremely left-wing, yet Elizabeth became a little bit more liberal. She went to a comprehensive school called Roundhay School, and following that she went to university in Oxford, and that's when she joined a new political party at the time called the Liberal Democrats. And then, following that, after the early days of the Lib Dems, when she realized that the Lib Dems are not actually liberal, they are becoming already very left-wing, she left that party and she became a conservative. And now, of course, after the university days, she worked in sales as an economist for a while and in various roles and companies. And then, of course, in 2010, she became a member of parliament for Southwest Norfolk. Before that, she was in the Conservative Party, pretty active, a chairman of the Conservative Association in Lewisham and Deptford in southeast London. And this is when her career started in politics properly. As a backbencher, as a new MP in 2010, she decided to set up a group called Free Enterprise Group. This was a free marketeer group that pushed for true free market capitalism against the globalist mentality of corporatism. And this was actually the early days of the coalition government. And that was a taboo to talk about these values and ideas. It was fascinating because she joined David Cameron's cabinet, and in 2016, during the EU referendum, and the pressure of George Osborne and David Cameron, she was forced to join the Remain campaign. And because of that, she's received a lot of criticisms because of that. But following the result of the EU referendum, she did become an instant Brexiteer, and this she has tried her best to show and prove her Brexit credentials. And to be fair, we have said in the past that some people who were not leavers in 2016 became Brexiteers, yet there were some people who were leavers in 2016, but after the referendum, now they are Brinos, Brexit in name only. So technically speaking, it doesn't matter if you voted Remain, but you can become a Brexiteer. But at the same time, because there are some people who voted for leave, but they're not really Brexiteers. But she has received a lot of criticism, so this is one flaw on her CV, I guess, you might say. But she has tried her best to be a good Brexiteer. She signed a number of massive trade deals across the world. For example, as you can see, this one with Japan. And she tried her best to fight against the European Union's elitism when it comes to the Northern Ireland Protocol. She was behind the idea to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. She fought against the Macron's elitist government when it comes to the fisheries deal and a number of other problems that we are facing at the border. And she's been very much vocal about those problems. And now, in Whitehall, generally speaking, her career in politics and in the governments that we've had, successive governments, she has been in various government departments. From the early days when she was a junior minister in the education department, to when she became Secretary of State in Environment, Justice, and of course she was also part of the Treasury team, and then she became Secretary of State for Trade, and now the Foreign Secretary. Now she has been quite vocal and outspoken against the woke culture and the cancel culture that we are seeing from the illiberal, regressive left. She said that the Conservative Party should reject the zero-sum game of identity politics. We reject the illiberalism of cancel culture, and we reject the soft bigotry of low expectations that holds so many people back. This has actually been receiving a lot of good reception for her. She always said that her champions and heroes in life have always been Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. She's a believer of a free market capitalism, but she has always clarified that this is not the same as a corporatist capitalism and the globalist corporatism that we are now seeing in the world. She believes in individual liberty, in smaller government, lower taxes, and fewer regulations as possible. Now, she has received some criticism for being on the website of the World Economic Forum, and it has been one of the most gossipy things on social media, but people didn't realize that the top government ministers from all governments automatically get a page on the World Economic Forum website. There is another page on the same WF website that is for the members of WF and the young global leaders, the new scheme and groups that they've created over the last few years. Liz Truss is just has a basic page, as you can see, on WF, simply because she was Secretary of State in the British government. Everybody had a page, including Donald Trump when he was president, including Putin, and that was always a normal thing. But it has slightly damaged the social media gossipy games when it comes to this leadership election. Now, she has been very outspoken also and a campaigner against the extreme net zero targets of WF's ideas. She's actually said that we have to go towards not just nuclear, but also shale gas and fracking. And this has actually pushed Boris Johnson, at least as an idea, to come and make a U-turn when she was still part of when the government was a stable government for that 10 minutes period that we had under Boris Johnson. But she's trying her best to fight against the net zero agenda by pushing actual clean alternatives, whether it's extracting shale gas or building smaller and more affordable and safer nuclear energy plants. And this is going to be the biggest thing that is going to be part of this campaign. And actually, to be fair, she's also said that what part of the movement is to be the anti-Rishi Sunak candidate. She said that if I don't get to the top two, then Rishi Sunak will become the Prime Minister. Of course, they're all going to say the same thing, but it is going to be interesting. On this channel, I've been praising Liz Truss a lot in her job over the last few years. She's been very good when it comes to, again, her Brexit credentials, as well as on the world stage overall. And there are a lot of people who have been asking, well, how do we push? Because we don't really have a say in this leadership election. If you are a supporter of Liz Truss, for example, you can actually email your MPs, your Tory MPs, not your Labour MPs. If you are a Tory member, for example, you can actually email your MPs to push them to support your ideal candidate, Liz Truss. Now, we'll see how it goes. We're going to come back tomorrow with part 3 of this new series. So the best thing you can do, actually click here first so you could watch the part 1 of the series that we did on Kemi Badenoch. And then we'll come back tomorrow, 5 p.m. with another episode of Who Are the Tory Leadership Candidates. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.